There we go. Oh, yeah, we're streaming. We're on YouTube.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We got it going.
I actually heard some other interesting off-the-record things that maybe we can share when we're done with the thing.
Yeah, we're on the YouTube. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got to tweet this out and make it happen. Sherwin, you have to entertain our guests for a moment.
While you do all the digital stuff. So it's pretty obvious, Tommy, probably what we're going to talk about. We got some interesting things going on with the Roval and, of course, silly season being what it is. And it seems like maybe this year it's a little ramped up over, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, you're in the moment, it's easy to get really excited about all the different changes that are going on. But, you know, I've seen a lot of interaction on the old Twitter that says, hey, this is just silly season, man. This is part of how it goes.
Dude, it feels like silly seasons. I maybe I say this every year, but it's getting sillier. I've got a piece on it coming up, so we'll
save that.
We'll do it on the thing. But geez, that's a lot of stuff going down, you know.
So, how's Vegas? Is it hot during the day and cold at night?
You nailed it. That's it. You nailed it.
Right. Cool.
Well, we got Brandon Carl. We've got Jumpy Bob. Folks are happening. On the deal, Roger. That's a long wait, he says. Almost broke out the pumpkin spice beer. Nothing wrong with that. What's up, Cancian? You know, if
I've been catching a ration of you know what because I was kind of derogatory about the pumpkin beer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm totally okay. I made
You're
one
good with the pumpkin beer.
Yeah, I'll drink it.
Oh,
Watch
man,
this.
I'm totally not good with it.
Whatever.
It's okay.
If people, you know,
I've had 2,600 different beers just measured by Taco Mac. So
right, and zero of them were pumpkin. Is that the?
No, one of them was.
Okay,
and so
you're part of the problem then.
No, I'm part of the solution.
Sorry,
I'm part of the solution.
I'm trolling you right now. Is what's going on?
I know what you're doing. You're setting the hook.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get away from it. Sorry, I got to get my mute on. Aye.
Oh,
sorry,
man.
y'all.
Good times. Oh, well, y'all see what we got. We got Tommy Joe. He's ready to roll. We're going to have some fun.
He's missing one awesome stash that he was sporting at Darlington. Of course, I am kind of too. You and Timmy Hill were, like, killing it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of those photos that's up on the wall at some point when I'm old.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. When you got an upper lip billboard as strong as yours, you like you're almost obligated to go mustache.
Buttering me up now. Didn't think about it. So I shaved yesterday, and I thought about it when I was doing it. I was like, I'm pretty sure the last time I did this was for Darlington. It crossed my mind.
Yeah, man. We would have loved to have you on the show with something, special, different.
Yeah, just big old Tom Selleck caterpillar.
Oh, man. Or, a Burt Reynolds tribute.
Yeah, there was a lot of opportunity there.
Bandit tribute.
Yeah.
I actually bought one of those shirts that they sold as a tribute.
Oh, yeah?
It's just the big, like the Firebird gold, and then just red, like scripted Bandit. Like it's in the mail.
Oh, sweet. That'll be awesome. About time to start this recording. Y'all ready to roll?
Uh-oh. iTunes people alert.
Yeah. And we didn't even give Tommy the rundown. He's such a regular on the show at this point. He knows what's coming.
It's a real reactionary. No, just kidding.
Yep. So, Tommy, you ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
All right. Recording now. Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 164. It's Thursday, September 27th. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace. I'm in the PTM Podcast studio with Pre-game injury, Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
So I know you're extremely jealous because after we did our last show, I actually got to meet the artist who was provided this intro and outro music that we love so much.
Dude, I was. You were texting me like, I'm up in North Carolina, and Sydney Let's having a party, and told me to come over, and all these people are going to be there. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, I can't be that mad about what's going on. So with that, let's go ahead and we got a very special guest coming up. It's going to be a fun time. But before we do that, y'all know what the deal is. This podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PTM and join the What You Drink Club for as little as $1 a month. Get a free koozie. Best part is every cent in 2018, we're donating to sponsored drivers. So join the PTM posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. This week's show, it's brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. Hold on 1 second. We've got Tommy Joe coming back. We lost him for a second. We're still, we're going total amateur mode at this point. But still doing the intro here. This week's show is brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That is Laura Henshaw, Aaron Bearden, Robert Keplinger, Tony Saul, Kobe McClam, Eric Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Marilyn Best, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brandon Kraut, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, Billy Workman, Rika Porter, Jumpy Bob and Les Miller, Tommy Witt, Mark Wiley, Julie Bosley, John Pearson, and we want to welcome to the PTM posse Mr. Eddie Greer the Third. So awesome. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, everybody. This is fun. Total amateur hour in the intro there.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
We're back.
That'll happen when you do it live. Sometimes things don't go right.
Yeah. Well, we just want to jump right in. Welcome back to the show. Multi-time PETM, PhD. Like, he's got multiple, like, I don't know. He's hit for the cycle. He's got, like, triple doubles out the yin-yang.
It freaked me out.
I think it's 7 time.
Seven time.
Yeah.
Wow.
It freaked me out when I looked back in it, and it's been like 32 episodes since we've had you on. I'm like, man, we used to only go like 7 to 10 weeks without having you back.
Right.
So I don't know if that means we're doing good or bad.
A fallback option for you guys, huh?
Not fallback. Give me a break. We got so much to talk about. That's the thing. Y'all, if you're a new follower, if you're a new listener, driver of the XFinity number 8 Chevy for BJ McLeod Motorsports on Twitter at Tommy Joe Martins. It's Tommy Joe Martins.
Good to see you guys. Good to be
see
back,
you, man.
This
is
glad
awesome.
to have you.
Dude, well, you know how we start. What you drinking tonight?
Drinking some green tea.
Green tea.
So this is not the normal beverage that I would have in my hand when I talk to you guys, but I'm being good tonight.
You're going to have to, steer cars with your left hand from the passenger seat tomorrow to try to keep people from putting their Corvettes on the wall?
That's true. So I'm out here in Las Vegas. I'm working at Ron Fellows driving school out here right now, doing a 2-day Corvette owner school class, of which we finished up the first day today, day 2 tomorrow, and then back at it again this weekend. So I'm working almost every day out here.
How many people have wrecked their new Corvette on your track? Has that happened?
Wrecked?
Well,
like
I don't know.
Trashed.
Yeah, just straight up trashed it. Why not?
You got professional supervision. So
okay, all right.
0.
Okay, well,
spun out?
That's good.
No, that's a good sell.
Several.
I mean,
there's plenty that spun out.
There's plenty of those.
It's kind of like, but you'll kind of let them do the spin out probably just so they know where the edge is. Like,
I would prefer them not getting to the edge since we own all the cars. But,
okay. Okay.
So they go to school with you, and then they end up buying a car. Is that how it works?
They bought a car, and then they get to take the school for a discount.
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of like part of the package. Like, hey, I'm going to spend $90,000 on a car. So,
and a lot of them need it.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute.
Let's just say that.
To be fair, if I bought a Corvette tomorrow, I would need it. I don't know what I'm doing. You know?
I'm surprised that everybody doesn't come through it. It's such a good program, and it's fun to be a part of it. And really going to work every day, people ask me that all the time. Like, oh, man, you get such a cool job. Do you ever get tired of your job? I mean, everybody gets tired of their job.
Sure.
But I get to go to work every day and do something I like doing, and I got a lot of friends that I do it with. And so it's a good gig, and I'm not really looking to go anywhere else.
Right on.
Sounds pretty fun to me. I've only driven one Corvette in my life. It was a 1989 automatic, and I was by myself. I was just kind of running an errand for a friend, and the only car available was their vet.
Oh, darn.
And they're like, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? So, like, I was like, I'm just going to stomp the gas one time just to see what it's like, because my daily driver as a high school student was a Dodge Neon. All right.
Oh,
and so
little power for once.
Oh
then,
yeah, ton of power, just a badass car. But I pull up the stop sign of that vet, and I just kind of hit the gas, and like I looped it. I'm so glad nobody was around. I mean, I just went whoa, and I'm like, good grief, I need to just park this thing.
You're not the first one. You will be the last.
Set the keys on the ground. Walk away slowly.
Like, I'm just gonna idle to where I'm going.
Oh, love it. Tommy, so we I don't think we've had you on since we met in Talladega, and we were laughing because that's the first time we finally got to meet in person. And,
Finally.
And I walked up because you're at the autograph session, and I was like, Sherwin, just be real quiet. Yeah. And I mean, you were looking down, you're signing each of the things, and I walk up and I go, hi, Tommy. We're really big fans. Really appreciate you signing the thing, and you started like your script of, hey guys, really appreciate it. Oh my God.
Yeah, you did. You got me. You know what? It should have struck me before, because very rarely does somebody come up to me and say, man, I'm a really big fan. That doesn't happen very often.
A great
so that should have probably been the first time.
Hey, Tommy, I've heard of you before. Can I have a...
I'm going to say, I know we've talked about it before, but going through that autograph line was one of the most... That's the most fun I've ever had being a race fan and host of this podcast, because there was like 6 of y'all that had been on the show before. And we're like, man, this is cool.
But we're not going to lie. We were so glad that like you were kind of down toward the end, because we're like, holy crap.
Yeah, let's sneak up on him.
Yeah, we're going to sneak up on Tommy. This is awesome. Like, I mean, we've had some other guys on the show, but that's Tommy Joe. He's the man. And he's, obviously that's the one we're here to talk to. Everybody else is, gravy. But, yeah, that was...
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. That made my day. That was a lot of fun.
Good. Ours, too. We know that, boy, when we get to talking, we get to talking. One of the reasons that we're, a bit late on here, we're just catching up with Tommy before the show starts. Next thing you know, it's 20 minutes later. We're going, well, we probably ought to, start recording or something eventually, I guess.
We're bad about that. We're bad about going into overtime on this thing. We got to keep it. We got to keep it brief tonight, boys.
We had to talk about some interesting things. We had to get all the cuss words out.
Right. All the fun stuff.
That's it.
So we, I'll play the thing. We're going straight to the report card, straight to tearing it down, dude. It's something I've been wanting to ask you since, for probably like 4 or 5 weeks, and I know you've tweeted about it. But in our first period here, I want to talk about Ross Chastain for a bit, the success that he's been having. I know you've had some thoughts and perspectives, and you've put stuff on Twitter on how that's played out and what it means to this side of the garage, I guess. So, we'll just hand the microphone over and have you either go on a rant or go on a soapbox, whatever it is. I want to hear it.
No, we're all just so proud of him. I mean, it was there's the pushback from the first race at Darlington, and it's hard to describe how much pressure he had on him. I mean, first of all, Ross was getting an opportunity in a tremendous car, right?
Yep.
Well, we can all agree how good that Ganassi car is. So he was immediately like, wow, I've got a chance to go win. How amazing is this? So he's putting that pressure on himself. But the additional pressure was he kind of represented everything about where we're at, and I say we is like the midfield to back of the field, where it's like we can say it till we're blue in the face that there's a lot of talent in the middle and the back of the pack. But here it was. Here's one of those guys that now he's getting his shot in a race-winning, capable car. And all he did is go out there and sit on the pole at Darlington, the hardest track we go to, lead almost every single lap, and get caught up with Kevin Harvick in a deal that, quite frankly, I think could be called either way. All right. Somehow that got spun one way towards Ross. And so all the fallback after that, and Harvick saying, he's inexperienced, and that wasn't a great thing to say because, the guy's been around for 7 years.
Yep.
running the trucks and everything else. So that it was just everything kind of rolled into one, the dichotomy of it, of like, well, here's a guy that's a Cup guy running an Xfinity and saying a guy that's been around for 7 years isn't experienced. And it's simply because when you run for one of these middle or back of the pack teams, a lot of the times you're considered irrelevant. And that's something that I've fought. It's something that I've talked about and written about and said a lot about. And so then for Ross to back it up and go and win the next time at Vegas, I mean, it was just really special. I mean, it was just really happy for the guy. And in this weird way, like, if he had run second, it probably wouldn't have been a big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, almost like in Moneyball, if you guys have ever seen that movie, they talks about it. It's like, if we don't win the World Series, then none of this matters.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is a new philosophy, but if we don't win the World Series, then nobody cares. And it would have almost been the same with Ross, which is unfair. Like, he clearly proved he was fine. Like, if he had had a flat tire with 5 to go at Vegas, would it have really changed anything? No, but it would. It would have, which is silly. Like, he clearly proved he's really good, but he almost had to win, and he won. And just how rad is that? Like, it was just so cool. And to see him and Garrett, who's a guy that's I would consider him a friend of mine, Garrett, see him hugging Ross in victory lane and both teams rooting for him and all that. You know, it was really a cool thing for Ross. And yeah, in a way, maybe I'm selfish. Maybe it feels like it validates some of the stuff that I've been saying and me and a lot of the guys we race against. You know, I also think Ross is just really, really good too. Dude, and it validates him, and I hope he gets to go on and do more things.
Dude, by myself, watching the Vegas. Now, me and Sherwin were at Darlington, and I've said it on the podcast that was the most excited I've been at a race, was at that Xfinity race, watching that happen and getting so excited about all that. But watching Vegas by myself at my house, I'm screaming at my TV going, this is what Tommy's been talking about.
Yeah. And here's a guy, didn't just win, like, dominated.
Yeah.
Oh, he blistered their asses.
Yeah.
In a car that, you know, we've seen what we think is a superstar get in Larson and do pretty good and win some races. There's 4 stickers on that car, and only one of them belongs to Ross. But, I mean, we know that's a good car, but he did exactly what a good car is supposed to do.
He ran 3 races, guys.
Oh, yeah, don't forget runner-up.
He won both stages at Darlington before he got wrecked, and he won the pole. He won both stages in Vegas and won the race. He struggled at Richmond and finished second.
Right.
Struggled and finished second. In a race where he's an afterthought because it was potentially, you know, Junior's last race, and he led a ton of laps, so you're like not even thinking about Ross. Everybody's thinking about Junior, but look at that finish line. Mm-hmm. Like, look at what he accomplished in 3 races. It is unbelievable. That in our time of being a fan of this sport, that is unprecedented.
And yet, what comes from it? Because then Dale Jr. says, after the race, he said, this is a quote, he said, I'm really worried. I'm worried that he's not going to get a chance in a big-time ride.
And that's because he knew he'd already signed a deal with Gregson for his one car, so he didn't have a car for him. So who does have a car for him?
Yeah.
Well, that turned into a little bit of Junior hate and Kelly Earnhardt hate, which I thought was really misplaced. You're basically asking him to just burn $5 million.
Sure.
Agreed.
Why would he do that? Like, we all love him, and we love Ross, and we want Ross to get a good shot. Why would he just burn $5 million? That's the budget for his race team. And so that's what it would take to put a junior motorsports quality ride out there. And so if they don't have that money, they're not going to do it.
Right. That's in this late in the season is part of the problem. Like, Ross ended up developing a relationship with DC Solar. Chip was like, yeah, why not? Let's figure it out. This is too late, though, in the season, unless something weird happens to a car that's good. So,
what I think this is unfair to, though, and I'm going to speak to something else here. I think this is a little unfair to John Hunter Nemechek. because everybody immediately said, wow, well, John Hunter Nemechek sucks. Like, I can trust me. John Hunter Nemechek does not suck.
We don't
John Hunter
think
Nemechek is good. He is very good. Just because he didn't do what Ross did, that's unfair. Ross has been in the Xfinity series for like 5 years now. Long time. He knows these cars very well. You can sit there and say, well, he's never been in a great ride. Like, Johnny Davis doesn't put out just junk cars.
Sure.
They're okay. It's good stuff. It's not like elite front of the field stuff, but it's good. It's solid equipment. And so he's been able to really fine tune his craft as a driver in essentially the same car that handles roughly the same and does characteristics. And then all of a sudden he's racing for the best team in the field. He's going to feel like Superman. Of course he is. Whereas for John Hunter, he just hasn't been in an Xfinity car a whole lot. So it's a different thing. And it took him a little bit to learn about the trucks, and then he kicked everybody's butt. And it's going to take him a minute in Xfinity, and he'll be fine. Like, I think John Hunter Nemechek is really good. And I think it's weird that everybody just started piling on him when Ross had success. That doesn't seem fair. Like, they can both be good, by the way. Like, it's not just one or the other. Like, we can have multiple good people. Just Ross did so much with his opportunity that it almost makes everybody else look bad.
Well, so, and we talk about this all the time in other clouds of racing, in that, like, why is it that when Kyle Busch gets in the 18 truck, he's unbeatable for the most part, but maybe an Eric Jones or somebody like that gets in and, like, yeah, they do really well. But, like, because we know that truck
it's because
is good.
Two things. Number one, Kyle Busch is the best driver in all of NASCAR.
That's probably a bad example for me.
There's number one reason, and the number two reason is because he's been running trucks since 2000 and whatever. What, 2003?
2003 as a 16-year-old with Roush Racing.
Wow.
Okay, so 15 years of experience running them now? I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of laps does this guy have in elite equipment in NASCAR?
Yeah.
The only non-elite car he's ever driven was his own Xfinity car. And
how'd
his
that
older
go?
brother won in it, and he didn't. And he's like, "Yep."
And again, this is not me discrediting Kyle Busch at all. He is the best driver in all of NASCAR.
There's only one driver that anybody.
The talent is undeniably big. That's my only thing that I've ever said is, like, you take a guy like Ross Chastain, give him that opportunity. How does it turn out? Like talent. A lot of people have talent. I think Kyle Busch had just this otherworldly talent that has, like, clearly been shown. So to sit here and be like, oh, well, anybody could do that. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. At all. At all. I do think that if you gave me 15 years in the truck series, I'd be pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, no, and to back up your point there, I think what you're saying is, and we got to.
I also think I'd look a lot better than 3 rookies that are also my teammates.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what happens. Why does Johnny Sauter look just unbelievably amazing at GMS? Well, he's been in the truck series for how many years?
Long as I've been paying attention.
Teammates. His teammates are all rookies every year.
Since it started, actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's going to – I would hope he's better. I would hope that he's a little more refined. And so that's all it is with Kyle Busch. He's, like, unbelievably talented and also experienced. So you do those two things and put him in elite equipment, and he's going to whip everybody.
Yeah.
So we got to get to the next thing. We agree that JHN is definitely good. He's just inexperienced. So –
Yeah. Well,
I'll give an A+ to this segment. It's the longest first period we've ever had, I believe.
Well, however long it takes.
Big John Hunter guy. You know what I'm a big fan of in NASCAR? I'm a big fan of guys that can set up their own race car, get it through tech, and go race it. And John Hunter can. Yeah,
that's one of the things that was so cool about all those inside, interviews that have been done with John. Like to reference Kyle again, same way, he understands what the race car is and can do and how to set it up.
Right.
Yeah, like Kyle Busch, I've literally seen him get out of the truck, go work on his own front suspension at a NASCAR truck race, get back in it, and go out there and go P1.
Yeah.
So that, again, that's like my Kyle Busch respect meter is just like off the charts. He is the number one guy.
So in second period, we've got some questions from the posse here coming up. William Soke at William SOQET says, this one's hitting close to home for you. 2-year Xfinity deals don't happen all that much in the back, I don't like saying back half of the garage, in this side of the garage. What's the pro-con process that goes into decisions like the one that Vinnie Miller made recently?
Yeah, that was a big deal for the team. So what I tweeted out about that was basically it's a really big deal for BJ McLeod Motorsports. They have never had a full-time funded driver on the team ever. Mm-hmm. So to lock something down this early for next year and the year after, I mean, that's like a huge deal for the team financially. And hopefully from a competition standpoint, all the new aero package stuff they're talking about, does that help our team? Yes. Does that put Vinny in a place where maybe he can be more successful? Yeah. And so I think it's all good things. Like, it's all good. Now, as far as what my role is going to be it's obviously going to change. The deal that BJ and I always had is it was a business agreement that he was trying to make money from his team. And he would be basically holding open seats to funded drivers at any given time. And then that if there wasn't one, that I would get a chance to race. Mm-hmm. That, for the most part, he's had 2 seats open all year, right? I mean, it's kind of been a revolving door over at BJ's.
Yep.
He's had mostly me, but a lot of other guys too. And I'm like, that all works out great. Like, I've had no issues with any of it. And this is a business. And he, as you guys know, I have worked in the business, on the business side.
Yep.
There are no hard feelings here. It is probably going to change my role at the team next year. That's one less car to have an open seat. So now instead of 2 cars with an open seat, it's probably going to be 1. And with other funded drivers coming to the team, I'm probably looking more at a limited schedule. Now what that is, I've had just very few discussions with BJ about this. We've talked about it twice now. He wants me back. I want to be back there. We're just going to have to figure out what that looks like and maybe what races that would be, and firm something up. So I'm not sure what that's going to mean for me moving forward. It's great for the team, and I'm happy for the team. It's probably going to change my role a little bit.
Sure.
Does that give you an opportunity to potentially race the 01 or the 0 or whichever car Vinny's leaving?
Through the tea leaves here, I haven't heard a whole lot about what's going on over there at JD. I mean, that's a team I've respected for a long time.
Sure.
Johnny has been complimentary of me as a driver. I mean, that would be cool. But I don't have the funding that they probably need for a full-time program.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I just don't have it. So, my door's open. My cell phone is sitting right here. If somebody wants to call, and I've had a few people reach out to me about stuff. To me, I just think BJ is still my best situation for me so far.
Sure.
And that's kind of where I'm leaning, and we're going to work it out from there.
Okay.
So,
does BJ have the best hair in the Xfinity owner garage?
100%.
100%. That's a drinking word on this.
Cheers,
show.
everybody.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to skip third for a moment and go to fourth here.
Are we going to go outside and smoke? Just skip this period?
Yeah, we're going to skip that one and go to that one because we're kind of on a roll here, right?
Yeah,
I mean
we're rolling.
Germans bombing Pearl Harbor and stuff. He's rolling. It's good. Fourth period, we're skipping third for a second. But I saw you tweet out after Weaver had posted his article about Steve Phelps, and pretty much it's like announced that he's taken over the reins, and then he had a no-holds-barred, ask me anything, I will respond sort of interview, and I saw that you retweeted Weaver's thing and said, hey, if you're an NASCAR fan in any respect, you need to read this. And so, of course, the next thing I did was go over it in detail. But what's your thoughts about, I guess, overall in all the stuff that he was saying. Do you think? I don't know. Were you encouraged by all that?
I'm trying to be encouraged.
Okay.
Yes. I wish them nothing but the best. I do.
Yeah.
I wish all of them success in this. It is a very tough job that NASCAR has. They have to balance a lot of plates.
Right.
It's a complicated sport. I would argue probably too complicated. But it is a complicated situation that they find themselves in, balancing a lot of different things. And I think the rules package, changing things there, their take on a lot of this, from what I gleaned, is there's two ways for teams to become more profitable, which is, number one, we can reduce the cost of racing, which that would obviously help. And then number two, have them make more money from the prize money and other things.
How do we stop them?
It seems like they're leaning a lot more towards the first version, which is try to save money on the competition side, which, look, I'm all for both. Right. And I've made that, I've talked about the money side of this with you guys a lot. So
absolutely.
I hope that they're proactive, and they seem to be saying all the things, and Steve seems to be saying all the things that they're trying to work on. I'd love to sit down with them and talk about what some of that stuff is, rather than what has been kind of my normal move, which is just to throw my opinions out on Twitter, and it gets taken however it gets taken. I'd like to sit down with them face-to-face and just really talk about what could be coming to change the business model, because I just don't think the sport is going to grow until the teams are healthy. When the teams are healthy, the sport grows. And right now, I think there's a disconnect there.
Yeah. Sherwin, I don't think we need Tommy to chime in on all these topics, but I was very impressed, and the reason that I had said, this was the ask me anything kind of thing. I mean, he addressed what Tommy just talked about, which is, the economics of a team getting into the sport. He addressed, obviously he gave kind of a boilerplate answer, but he didn't just straight up reject any questions about Brian France and what the deal is there. He didn't, and he was answering just everything. Just, hey, here's the deal, and he said a few times, I'm not going to sugarcoat blah blah. He started talking about headwinds. I think that's something that Weaver brought up in his article was, hey, they're actually I don't want to say admitting, but addressing the fact that hey, there's a few things that we got to overcome. And obviously he's confident that they're going to overcome it. He wouldn't have taken the job if he doesn't think he can make a change there, or they're paying him $100 million.
The thing that I thought he said that was just a little bit worrying. I mean, Weaver asked him a question about Furniture Row, which was a great question. Which is like, okay, well, the defending champion is shutting the team down. Do you think that's bad? Do you think maybe that other owners, potential NASCAR owners, wouldn't want to be a part of this because you win the championship and you don't really have enough money to keep going? To which he said, yeah, of course you don't want to see that. But he also said that he thought it was a kind of a one-off thing, that it just had a lot more to do with Barney Visser and the health of him and other factors, and that he didn't see it as a systemic problem, that it was just kind of a one-off thing. It was just unfortunate how it happened, which, I mean, I would have to disagree. I think it is a problem. I mean, you have teams that are built up completely on sponsorship revenue, and when that rug is pulled out from under them, they shut down. It doesn't matter if they just won the championship, if they finished 15th, if they finished 10th, it doesn't matter. And they are too reliant, which he went on to say. Let me clarify this.
Yep.
He went on to say, we would like to reduce that. That's good. How much is reduce that, though? I would like for that to be additional income. So that's a 100% reduction. But what it actually turns into, I'm not sure. But that was something that, again, you kind of almost have to read between the lines, because you're right, guys.
Yes.
I mean, it's his first day on the job. He's not going to say anything too controversial here, but I admire the fact that he stepped up to the plate and answered everything there was, because Matt's a good journalist and he asked some questions that were really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're going to call them folding up their shop a one-off deal, then we have to call their success a one-off deal. And if NASCAR's ready to call those two things the same thing, okay, that's fine. Let's stop celebrating that Barney was able to get his team to a championship because it doesn't matter.
Well, eventually the team shut down.
But you
know,
truth.
and that's the sad part about all this to me, guys. And I've said it, that if you're a successful NASCAR team, then you are a failing business.
Yes.
At the Cup level, absolutely. I know Junior operates at zero.
At every level.
Dude,
really, at the truck level. I mean, even at the truck level, at any level.
We used to talk about it how...
Truck's a losing battle. Junior says he operates 4 cars. They set their budget at break even. If they make any money at all, that's fun.
Well,
right.
we talked
and this
about
is a guy that is the most popular figure in all of NASCAR.
I agree.
And he says he operates a break-even team.
Yes. A 4-car break-even team capable of winning
that takes
6-7
additional
races?
revenue of over $15 to $20 million just to break even.
Without a doubt.
We've talked about it on the show before. One of my eye-opening moments in this sport, because, you know, at first you're just following the Cup and blah, 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 and having fun with that, and then you get deeper and deeper because you get excited and you like watching racing. And I was listening to that to Marty and McGee back, I mean, how long ago was that? 4 or 5 years ago now, when they were just a NASCAR deal. And they had Brad Keselowski on when he had his truck team. And he said, if you want a successful championship truck team, you have to be willing. It has to be a hobby. It's not a business. It's a hobby, and you have to throw $2 million.
It's a $2 million expenditure.
Yeah, that's what he said at the time, 5-6 years ago, however long that was. That it was a $2 million. Just this is my hobby to do that. So
like net deficit.
We're talking about rich people's hobbies. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Brad, but you know, it's a rich people hobby to have a championship team. That reminded me. I guess what reminded me of that was just that was my first sort of realization of, oh crap, this isn't like just guys. You know, this is a living or whatever. This is like a money sink. Holy crap!
Right, and that's the thing is there was another big article that came out. James Hinchcliffe wrote about drivers racing for free in the Indy 500.
Wow,
because the teams are basically requiring the drivers to bring X amount of money, and so then there's no money left over. And a person that I've connected with quite a bit, Pippa Mann, who didn't qualify for the Indy 500 this year, you know, she basically added on to that and said that there is no. By the time I scrounge up all the sponsorship I don't have any more money to pay me.
We would love to have Pippa Mann on our show.
And so you're basically racing and risking your life for free, and that's something that I've done. And I've done it, and I will basically continue to do it because it's something that I'm passionate about, you know. But the same thing came out about Ross winning the race for Ganassi, winning, and not getting paid for it.
Yeah. You know, you
and
just put.
And the thing is like everybody goes, oh man, well I would have that opportunity for free, and it's like, yeah, same here, okay. Should you though?
You just backed a dump truck load of perspective at Rusty's house and buried right on top of me in terms of the payment. But what you just said about I'm risking my life and it's for free. I mean, me and Sherwin are doing hobbies here.
That's why I sit there, guys, and that's why I've been so upset about all the money and all that. And it just the perspective on it is, yeah, this is essentially my hobby. You guys nailed it. It is. It's essentially my hobby because I don't make any money from it. And there are a lot of other guys that don't. This is not me whining. This is not me saying, woe is me. This is just the simple facts. Is like the guys that you're watching, a lot of them aren't making money. And if they are making money, it's from the sponsor, not from the team. Because the team needs the money in order to operate.
Yeah.
So that's it. So that's where all this stems from. And so that's a little weird that when you're the driver for the team, like the crew is getting paid, and Goodyear's getting paid for the tires, and the track is making money for selling tickets, and the track's making money from television revenue, and TV is making money for selling commercials. And so everybody's making money, and I'm climbing in the car and sticking my neck on the line, and I'm basically, everybody's not only asking you to do it for free, but to pay money to do it. And that's just odd. It is odd. Like, am I happy that I get to do it? Yeah, but it is weird. It's a weird situation.
So, I mean that's a good. I like when segues happen.
Yeah.
And we get a segue into fifth period here, and we're talking about silly season, and how silly the silly season is already, and we're not even in the silly season, but we're talking silly season, et cetera, et cetera. But Ryan Newman to the 6. Suarez's future is unknown, which, I mean, that hurts me.
Truex hasn't been announced.
Truex, not officially announced. It sounds like it's
it seems obvious.
It's one of those
still.
like worst kept
It's
secrets.
JGR.
Kurt Busch,
he's going JGR.
Kurt Busch with some options. Jamie Mack, who knows? Levine Racing has an open seat now.
So let me stop you there,
Please.
because Tommy said he thinks Truex is going to CGR.
Oh, no. I meant JGR. Sorry.
Okay. All right, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry to confuse everybody. I thought that was the obvious thing. I think all the rumors are pointing to Kurt Busch going to the 1. Is Jamie just done with the racing, or is he going to figure out a place to be? I mean, I think it's crazy time.
Yeah. I mean,
Here's what I think about, guys, with all this stuff going down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you think about the top 3 series in NASCAR, just like any other sport, right? So, like if you have the world golf rankings in golf, and you have the top 100 golfers, right? Well, in the top levels of NASCAR, you have basically 36 seats, and then 38 seats and 32 seats, right? So roughly 100, roughly. Is Kurt Busch one of the top 100 stock car drivers in the world?
yes.
In the history of all of the world, the answer
Yes.
to that question is
Is
yes.
Jamie McMurray one of the top 100 guys?
100? Yes.
100 alive.
Yes.
I say yes.
I would say 100. I would say yes. Jamie McMurray is. Would you say that about Ryan Newman?
Ryan Newman's
Yes.
a better race car driver than Jamie McMurray.
Would you say that
Historically?
about Carl Edwards?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Would you say that about Greg Biffle?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you say that about Matt Kenseth?
Matt Kenseth is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Would you say that about Elliott Sadler?
Top 100?
No, top 100, no.
Top 100
You don't
ever?
think it's
Like
top,
against
no, not ever. Just
Okay.
right now in the world.
right now in the world? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Without a
I
doubt.
agree.
At stock car racing,
So-
yes.
Tommy, if you're talking about
the
today,
point that I'm trying to get to here, guys, is like any of this stuff that's happening isn't because these guys aren't good.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the point that you're making.
Oh,
And
no.
that's why we're egging you on. We want you to get to
Right.
that climax point.
no,
that you wanna make.
here's what I'm saying is that if you're talking about top 100 today, I'm putting Tommy Joe Martins in there. You know what I'm
So I
saying?
appreciate that, guys. I think I would be in there somewhere.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. We want you to have your Ross Chastain moment. Hey, Chip,
Yeah.
you got a second?
I appreciate that.
Not even
fellas.
that, but I mean,
Go on.
we're talking about top 100. Absolutely. It's hard for me to name 100 people who are current race car drivers. I couldn't do it. Or just say current race car drivers.
Yeah, well,
in
so
NASCAR.
I don't know. What's
I'm not
wrong
sure I
with,
can name
I don't
100.
know what is wrong with his health, and I don't even think we have to be all that concerned with the fact that we rooted for him for as long as we have. Casey Kane won 19 Cup races. He won
Right.
6 truck races or 5 truck races. He won
Out of, like,
11
6.
Xfinity races. You
Right.
know, he had won 30 poles at the Cup level. That's a top 100
Right.
racer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now Casey wants to retire.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And that's one of those things that you don't even have to be really familiar with Casey Kane. Like, clearly y'all are fans that have been following him for a long time. You know that he wanted to retire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he just the passion, whatever it is, there's something missing there. This is not I love Casey Kane.
Oh yeah, it's objective.
This
isn't.
It
projecting.
feels like it's time for him to do something different. He believes that. But for AJ Allmendinger, I don't think AJ Allmendinger wants to do anything different.
Right.
No, I hope Roger picks him up and runs the shit out of him in IMSA.
You know, but
Daytona,
that's the
24
thing. It's
hours.
like all of these decisions are being forced because of things that have nothing to do with the talent of the driver. And so that's weird.
No, it's not weird because you've outlined very well for us a couple of different occasions how weird the money input is, and how weird and gross the money requirement is to race.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what? We have a question from Benjamin Schneider, and thank you, Benjamin, for sending this in at B Schneider 53. I'm going to amend it a little bit, but hopefully get the spirit of the question across. Let's say you were called up by, I don't know, anybody in the Cup Series to, hey, will you drive this weekend? Is this like, is it something you'd have to think about depending on team and stuff? Is it something that you would like drop everything, tell the girlfriend, wife, whoever, you know, hey, we're not going out on that date. Tell BJ McLeod, hey, I'm going to be doing, you know, this thing instead of being at that. Is it a drop everything and happen, or is there any thought to it? I'm curious what that would look like.
Yeah, I've had a couple of opportunities that were small, but define opportunity here, fellas.
To race,
they've called the phone. They've said,
starting part.
Hey, we want you to drive the car. We also need you to buy the tires, or we need you to pay this amount of money, or whatever it is. Yeah. So there's always the but at the end of the sentence. And like, after talking to some guys, you know, like Timmy Hill and some guys that have driven BJ, who has been a lot of help in my life, and I can't thank enough for everything he's done for my career. BJ's even said at times it is not fun racing back there. Mm-hmm. Where they are. The gap between the front and the back there is so. And Timmy, out his own mouth, said that he thought they had a pretty good handling car at Indianapolis, and he said he got lapped every 10 laps.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're driving
at Indy
your
at
butt
2+ miles,
2.5.
Yeah.
You're driving your butt off and getting lapped every 10 laps, and that doesn't sound that fun to me.
Right.
And this is no discredit to any of the guys that are doing it. I mean, you're racing in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
You're racing in the Cup Series. Like, I want to race in the Cup Series. And I feel like I have the experience necessary to be up there and run a few races. I feel like I do. With that said, yeah, I'd like to get the right opportunity, but eventually that's going to come down to finding the funding to be able to make it happen.
I think that's something, you know, going right back to how we just started with where Ross Chastain is. Give me the same thing. Yeah, I would like for me and Tiger Woods to hit a golf ball with the same driver, you know, 10 times or something. Because I know he's got the, you know, $1 million driver and blah, blah, blah. What would that look like? I know I would lose, but where would I be? You know what I mean? And that's a bad example, obviously, because he's so much more
the greatest golfer than on the planet.
Right. But
okay, how about this for an example, guys? Like if you gave a college baseball player a metal bat, you know, or you gave like Albert Pujols a metal bat, and then gave Albert Pujols a wooden bat, like which one's going to hit the ball further?
Right.
No, that's actually a very good analogy.
That's this is kind of the world we live in. I mean, this is a motor sport. This is not a sport. This is a motor sport. There is a difference. So the car makes the difference a lot of the time.
Yeah. So Sherwin, real quick before we get into the next part, because this next part is this should be fun. How about the shout out? Talk about the truck that's on our profile page now, and what all happened to get that there. That is so cool. If y'all hadn't seen it, go to our Twitter profile page. It's pretty damn neat.
No, we have we do have a fan on Twitter. Just, I mean, you know, having one's nice. Having a whole bunch is also good. But Brandon Carl, very creative guy that races iRacing, created a truck.
And, by the way, part of the official sponsorship team.
Yeah, which is awesome. And he created us a black and white and with a little bit of green with our destination logo, like our sticker that we send out on the hood, and our Twitter handle on the side. It's a damn good-looking truck.
It looks cool.
It looks like Tommy Joe Martin should be racing it. Is what it looks like.
Boy, if I had, as soon as I get that lotto win, that's exactly what will happen.
Well, yeah, and shout out to the other sponsors he put on the truck, SimPit and ASUS. I don't know if those are just computer gaming.
Oh, Asus most certainly is. Yeah.
Ace. But I mean, it was just really cool. Like, we saw a couple of exchanges with the guy. I was like, "Oh, you created a thing. Can you do one for me?" And he's like, "I don't really take requests." And it's like, "Yes, we got some volunteer work for awesomeness." So it's really cool.
It looks good.
Oh man, it looks BA is what it does now. Here's the thing: I need Dodge to come back in the series so that can be a Dodge.
Ram.
If it's got to be a Chevy, it's got to be a Chevy. I'm happy with that. I'm not. This is not me, being or nitpicking or her knees are too sharp kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is. I would love to see that, but man, that thing is so cool. The colors are perfect. The black and white with a little bit of green trim. That's
and the
like
number 77.
That's my thing. I mean,
just love that number.
I do too. And the fact that again, the colors just do it for me. I think it's because being a fat guy, I like wearing dark colors.
Oh, I was going to say you like an offensive lineman. You like a fat guy number.
Oh yeah, fat guy number, fat guy colors.
That's
everything is working perfect. I love it. So let's do this. Let's gas it up because we have got to get Tommy's deep perspective on this one. Roval, dude, I don't know what to say other than Roval and soapbox it.
Yeah, we just lit the wick.
Yeah.
You're off.
Dude, what can you possibly predict in this thing?
I know that
they've already put cars in practice multiple times. I mean, this is going to be incredibly challenging, and it might be incredibly challenging to watch.
Yeah.
Given the number of caution laps, but I mean, I think it's going to put on a good show. I'm intrigued. I'm all in. I wish I was there. I thought I was going to be there, and I'm not. So that's a bummer. I wanted to take part in it. I feel like it's going to be this really incredible challenge that it's going to take so much patience and control to not put yourself in a bad position.
Mm-hmm.
They better bring the Martinsville brakes for turn 1 because that thing looks nasty.
It's a total darling thing where it's like you're not really racing the cars. You're just going to race the track and try to limit mistakes. And so I really love that level of challenge. I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm off Saturday. I plan on going and getting some brunch and just watching every minute of it. I'm just going to love it.
Yeah. So what gets me about this track is in practice, I'm sitting here watching professional drivers who know what they're doing. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, these guys are so much better than me, obviously, at driving. But, you kind of project sometimes, like, what was he thinking? Jesus. But the fact that these professional drivers who know what they are doing and are on the edge all this time.
And they're by themselves.
And they're by themselves and just doing some practice stuff, just get a feel for it. Just go out there and get a feel for this thing. And they hit the wall head on at full speed, and you go, what in the hell is this track?
Yeah.
It
is going to be a meat grinder of a track.
A meat grinder.
So when we talked to Jeff Gluckett at the Bristol tweet up, the last thing we said before everybody left, we're like, so what do you think about the Roval? And Jeff said, it's going to be an ish show.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, so did Kelly, so did everybody. I mean, I haven't heard this much hype for something. So, by the way, kudos to NASCAR. Whatever happens here, this is some hype.
NASCAR, kudos to Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith is quickly rising my rankings of people I like. I think this is really cool. This idea is cool. And the fact they're just going for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I think it's neat.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat. I think it's cool they're trying something. I think the fact that he's talking about trying to buy Nashville Fairgrounds and take a race there, if I could retweet something 1,000 times, I would. It's just really cool. So, I mean, good. I think it's neat. I hope it is successful. I do. I really hope it's a successful thing.
Can we call it right now? Can we say?
I want it to be too successful. Let me track back a minute. I want it to be successful.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be so successful that every track on the NASCAR circuit decides that they're going to have their second race be a Roval race.
So Yep. And I think
we don't need this. Like Pocono, we don't need a road course. Like we don't need a road course.
I love Pocono. Why don't people like Pocono?
Well, we've had some crappy races there for a few years.
I get it, but it's just not like go somewhere else. Then just go to Pocono once.
So we'll give a shout out. You don't have. I think you already answered it, but Andrew Cantian at KHANTZIAN. What's up, Cantian? Say hey to Barf. Let's say he says, let's say the Roval's a successful race. I think he even responded to him on Twitter, if I saw right. Do tracks with 2 dates follow suit and build more Rovals? I think you just kind of answered that in terms of I hope they don't. Well, it's kind of like the Eldora thing, although Eldora is not a gimmick as much as it is, what people want.
Eldora is a gimmick.
Make this. Let's try this one time. Let's not suddenly next year have 4 Rovals. That's a horrible idea, obviously. Let's have the Roval be a thing. Let's have Eldora be a thing and be the hype and all that. I think it's...
no street courses.
No problem. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm against Matt Weaver on that one, too. No street courses. We're fine. We don't need street courses. We got enough tracks.
Oh, yeah.
I do think Cup Series could go to Eldora, and I think it would be rad. I don't want Xfinity to go there. I don't want Xfinity teams to have to incur the cost of converting cars to dirt cars and all this other stuff. Like, I wish that the trucks, instead of going to Mossport, would just go to multiple dirt track races.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Go to the Charlotte dirt track. Go to the Texas dirt track.
Eliminate
go to Knoxville. Get more use out of that dirt truck that you built, and then let that series go up there to Mossport. Like, if we're just determined to go to Mossport, let's let the series that's already going to all the road courses go up there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How do we get you a microphone in front of the people that actually make decisions?
Because
it makes so much sense.
Because we would be going to Martinsville too, because the fact that Xfinity doesn't go to Martinsville is a bummer because I want to go there.
It's stupid because I
would call up Ben Kennedy, my friend that I've raced with before, and I would make if all of a sudden I was the general manager of the Xfinity series or whatever, first call I would pick up, call Ben Kennedy and go okay, I'm going to trade Martinsville race for one Richmond race.
And,
done.
Yep, done. See ya.
Yeah,
thanks.
I mean, you're Ben Kennedy.
Instead of Xfinity going to Richmond twice and trucks going to Martinsville twice, like let's just swap one.
Right. I hear you.
Or a South Boston or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Ben and you're 29 years old and you're the CEO of a national touring series or whatever age he is, he can't be older than 32. Like, come up with some creative
he's younger
ideas.
than me, so he's got to be mid-late 20s.
Wow.
Right. So come up with some creative ideas. That's what you're there for. And you are in charge of the series where you're allowed to make creative ideas that don't necessarily create huge money pits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we got to do it, y'all. We got to do a pick for the
hush your mouth.
Yep, we're going to do it. I don't even know how to do this. Tommy, have you been thinking about this? Is there a favorite for you? Somebody in the back pocket that you're thinking, hey, this guy's...
I think, to me, Kurt Busch is the favorite.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, nailed it.
I like Kurt Busch.
Nailed it.
I just like Kurt Busch. I like Kurt Busch, and who is like just a pure, technically good road racer. I mean, Joey Logano is good on these road courses, man. He and Keselowski have been good on road courses.
Mm-hmm.
So I would pick them. I would pick Ford. I would lean in the Ford camp.
There you go.
Right now.
Sherwin, where you at?
That is strong. Well, if he picked all of Ford, I got to go somewhere else.
I like it.
I mean, as much as I think, a lot of people are going to be looking at Kyle Busch as being the guy.
That was you don't get to pick yet. That was going to be my pick.
Okay.
So
right. Go ahead.
Real quick on pause right there, just because of what Tommy was talking about before. I mean, it's going to take a master of driving to make this happen, and that's where I see
race car driver.
Right, and that's where I see Kyle Busch in this one. That's why I would pick him.
You're probably right. It probably is Kyle Busch.
Well, probably because
you convince me. You convince me.
Oh,
Because
don't
why
back
wouldn't I
off,
just pick
Tommy.
the guy that I think's the best guy?
No, don't back off now.
Well, I mean, everybody in the garage will tell you the best wheelman is. Well, I don't know. You talk to the garage more than I do, so who am I? I'm an idiot. But I've heard before that best wheelman is Kurt, and so if you want to trade and you get Kyle and I get Kurt, I'm okay with this. But
Man, they're both so good. I just really like Kurt. I'm feeling Kurt. I just think Stuart Haas is good. I think Ford's good, and I think Kurt can wheel it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with Kurt.
Sherwin, you're up.
All right, so Kurt, Kyle.
Kyle is a safe pick. I'm kind of like
Kyle's a good pick.
Yeah.
Well,
but
hey,
it's
so let me
safe.
know
I'm not adding anything to the conversation by picking Kyle. Everybody
it's
knows
fine.
why
No,
you pick Kyle in this
You're
situation.
just adding excitement. It's fun.
Yeah.
And we're yelling, and it's fun.
Yes.
So, who won the last road course at the Cup Series level?
It's Chase Elliott.
Oh, I almost dropped a cuss word, like 4-letter words that have U's in them. Oh, he's wearing the hat.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you guys are going Kurt and Kyle, I'm going Chase.
You're gonna blow my mind right there. Look at these goosebumps.
Chase.
That's I love it.
It's
Popular pick. I do love me some Chase Elliott. That is one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet, ever. And he came out to Spring Mountain. He and the entire Hendrick team, kind of for some driver training and stuff, for the road course stuff. So where I worked, and so I worked with him and got to meet all those guys and talk to them. And I knew William Byron. I knew Alex Bowman. I didn't know Jimmy. I'd met Chase once, but I didn't really know him that well. So getting to hang out with them and coach them around, and it was just this kind of weird, like, Twilight Zone thing where I'm coaching Jimmy Johnson. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
It's just weird, crazy, weird thing. Like, what am I teaching him? Nothing.
And my perspective of Jimmy Johnson is he was probably totally super receptive of the whole thing and super exactly.
100%. Every single one of them were.
He's
they
a
were
better
all
person
really,
than me
really,
across the board.
really
100%.
good.
You're like,
have a drink.
oh yeah.
So, yeah, that was just a cool thing. And so, of course, when Chase won, I mean, that's the first place that my mind went, was just like, man, how cool is that they came out here and hung out with us before they went and did that, and whatever. It was just, the whole thing is so neat. So, yeah, I'm very pro Chase at all times.
You're being entirely too humble. What you're saying is that something that you taught him in Vegas probably helped him win Watkins Glen.
Chase had been to our school several times. And so just because I was a little faster around our track that I work at every day, in the cars that I work in all the time, that's not really a big downgrade to Chase Elliott.
No, that means you beat his ass in a Corvette at your place in Vegas.
What you're saying to two Chase Elliott fans is that you made our NASCAR experience more enjoyable because you probably helped him go faster.
I'm in.
And that's pretty damn cool.
We helped him get in the right mindset. I'll say that. I don't think we helped Chase Elliott be a better driver. I think we just got him in a frame of mind.
Don't be so damn humble. Tommy, we love having you on the show. Our listeners love having you on the show because you don't pull any punches, and that's so cool.
Appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
With that, let's go ahead and close it down. Not close it down completely, y'all. We've got a drop in here with a special fella. So it's Robby Lyons.
Robby Lyons
came on earlier and he hung out with us for a bit, and we'll play that for you a bit. Tommy, he had some. We told him, hey, we got Tommy Joe coming on, and he was like, oh my gosh, Tommy Joe's just a cool dude. So you've got props from Robby Lyons too.
Robby's a cool kid, man. I like Robby a lot. He had some weird stuff go down this year, man, where he was kind of in the seat, out of the seat, sponsorship, back in the car, back in the truck, not sure what he's going to do. So he's got some good stories to tell. So that should be a fun chat you guys have with him.
Yeah. So
I think he had made a neat, cool announcement about his own personal ownership of racing.
Yes. So he was totally open and what's going on with this stuff. And that first one's always the. Y'all hear it. It's always the like, hey, introduce yourself to everybody. What's going on? And eventually we'll have him on here, talking about all the crazy stuff that Tommy talks about with us. So
yeah, I don't know about that.
It's good times. But before we do that, Tommy, tell everybody what's going on, where they can find you, what's coming up next, and we'll let you run.
So BJ McLeod Motorsports on Twitter. I think it's Team BJ McLeod. My personal one is at Tommy Joe Martins on Twitter. You can check me out there. I think my next race is going to be Kansas.
Sweet.
And then Phoenix and Homestead.
Sweet.
So those are the ones coming up for me. That is subject to change as things change here for the Roval. But right now, that's what we're planning on. And I just can't wait to get back in a car, man. I mean, whatever. I want to close the season out well and get the guys in a good position for next year.
Dude, it's always so much fun. I mean, now we're just hanging out. You know, it's so much easier. When we get somebody new on, we're like, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to talk? Me and Sherman were talking earlier today. We're like, oh, we got Tommy on. We'll just kind of just BS with each other until an hour is filled up.
Same old habits that we get into every time.
It's so much fun, man. It's so much fun.
Well, we know we only need a skin and bones show sheet because we're going to get into conversations that spark all of our brains to ask questions that are extraneous to what the topic is, and that's what's so cool.
And I'm almost a little bit. I'm not disappointed because we get to have this cool drop in with Robby, but like last time that Tommy was on, like we had another whole show after the show for the YouTube folks. We had a blast doing that. We won't be able to do that tonight.
2 hours.
Yeah,
I posted
Dude,
the link.
I cooked some chicken and rice in there. I'm hungry. It's time to go eat.
It's awesome. Tommy, appreciate you being on as always, dude. We'll hook it up soon, and we got to have some more like our fireside chats with all the microphones off. That's so much fun.
You guys know me, man. Anytime I got the time, I'm down.
Right
Good
on,
hearing
brother.
from you guys. Appreciate the love.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
All
You
right,
guys
be
take
good.
care.
See ya. Oh man, Tommy Joe Martins, ladies and gentlemen,
so cool.
It's so much fun doing that. So, but with that, we're not going to keep you waiting any longer. We talked to Robby Lyons, y'all. We had a little bit of the phone kind of went in and out a couple times on us, but this is kind of the intro. This is the hey, feel him out. Here's Robby Lyons. Here's what he's all about. Here's what he's doing. Here's how he got here. And then the next time he's going to be on just like Tommy was, and BS with us and have some fun. So hope y'all enjoy this. And this is like the after show, the late night. Whatever you call it.
PTM After Dark.
Yeah, PTM After Dark, having
fun.
fun.
Leave that video on, or can you
doing this deal? No, sir. We're gonna go.
put the picture up?
Yeah, we're gonna go with that. And actually, I don't know which one it is here.
Take my
Is
shirt
it
off.
is
Nobody
this
wants
one?
that.
Nope, it's not that one. Is it that one? Nope, it's not that one. Is it that? Nope, that's the one we're on right there, y'all. As soon as I figure out how to do oh, there it is. Well, on the line, Tommy Joe Martins. Let me change that on the fly. This is totally a terrible way to do this, but
that happens sometimes. This is how we do it, y'all. It is what it is. We are not professional producers.
There he is. Yeah. So, amateur.
Mr. Robby Lyons.
Doing our thing. Here it comes, y'all. Hope y'all enjoy. And you know what? We'll probably shut it down after this. So with that, thank you for everybody for joining. Y'all know what the deal is. You can go on ptmpodcast.com, at PTM Podcast on Twitter. Everything else, we'll shut it down after this. It's been a blast. Tommy Joe's a man. And thank you, Robby Lyons. Here goes nothing.
Yeah, PTM Podcast on Instagram, and Andrew L. Sherwin as well.
See y'all. All right, everybody. We are excited to welcome onto the show driver the number 15 Team Chevy Silverado in the Camping World Truck Series. You can find him on Twitter at RL Racing 2 out of Clearwater, Florida. It's Robby Lyons. Robby, what's happening?
Oh, not much, man. Just going crazy, trying to get back on track, and that's what I love to do, and I know that's what y'all love to see. So, doing everything I can to make it happen. And I guess I could tell y'all first. First, here. I'll be back at Talladega here in a couple weeks.
Boom!
So I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah!
That's a hell of a track to come back to,
right? Well, and the trucks only get one shot at it, right?
Yep, that's about it. I mean, thankfully I got to race at Daytona back in February, so we didn't really get up in the mix of it all. kind of just rode around and let the chaos happen in front of us. And sometimes you see that strategy pay off, sometimes you don't. But we ended up, I think, 13th. Actually, I think I ended up 14th because I kind of passed on Benning after the caution came out, but I was in Days of Thunder mode and I was digging, so crossed the line 13th, but it ended up 14th. So I just hope nobody was looking.
So
well, we weren't.
Nope, not at all. So we didn't prep you for this. We kind of hit record and started going, but we always have to ask our guests the same thing. We enjoy sometimes a beverage while we're doing the podcast. It can be adult in nature or not, but we always ask, what you drinking on today?
Well, I ordered some pizza, and the doorbell actually was ringing. So my roommate's going to grab it, but I got a Pepsi on the way, so I'm 50-50. I can enjoy some Pepsi and Coke. Sometimes some additives with the Coke,
Yes, sir.
My dude Jack in the captain, not Roger Penske, but just as awesome.
I hear you. So you're talking to two guys who are sitting in and are from, like, the rare native Atlantans. Everybody moves to Atlanta. Nobody is from here, but we're from here, and so we might have to ship you a coupon for for some Coca-Cola. Have you pour that Pepsi right down the drain?
Right. The entire city of Atlanta is currently
Coca-Cola place over there in Atlanta. Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool.
Coke in Atlanta is a thing. I'm pretty sure the city of Atlanta is planning an attack on the NFL for labeling their official soft drink Pepsi. It's like, it's kind of like when
you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean it's that's what you do when you're the underling brand and you need exposure. Like,
right.
Coke doesn't need that exposure.
Right. So Robby, let's do this. Let's have you introduce yourself to the PTM Posse. It's the first time you've been on, hopefully the first of multiple times, as long as we don't offend you too bad. But introduce yourself to the Posse. What got you to the point that you're running in that number 15 truck in NASCAR?
Yeah, so my name's Robby Lyons, obviously. I'm from Seminole, Florida. Much like you guys are native Atlanteans. That makes it sound like you guys are from the sunken city. Atlanteans.
Right. The Atlantis.
Atlanta. I was actually born in Clearwater, Florida, like Clearwater, Largo area. I think Joe Nemechek was actually born from somewhere around there. But Tampa area, Amarola, somewhere around there. But I'm actually fifth generation Floridian, so I can definitely relate to you on that sense.
Yeah. Speaking of, nobody's from Florida,
right?
You know what? My dad's from Florida. Isn't that crazy? Anyway.
Oh, yeah?
That's right. I knew that. He's from D-Land, right?
He's from Tampa.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least we got a football team this year from the looks of it.
Right.
Well, they look all right, for sure.
Yeah. So, I kind of got started in racing an unconventional way. My dad had a background in drag racing motorcycles and in racing off-road dirt bikes, and when I was 5, he bought me my first dirt bike. I don't know if you ask him now if he would say it was the worst thing he ever did or the best thing. But I raced motocross for 18 years. I won a couple championships. It was kind of my thing. And when I was 15, I had an accident, broke both my legs, and all kinds of other stuff. And my dad was like, "That's it, we're done racing." And I wasn't really thrilled about it, to say the least. So when I turned 18, I was like, you know what, peace out. I'm going to go buy me a dirt bike, and I'm going racing. Forget all y'all. And so I had my little rebellious phase, we'll call it that. And I went to the Motorcycle Mechanics Institute in Orlando and raced. And then got in some accidents there and broke some more bones, and then realized that I kind of needed my parents to help me with hospital bills.
And they weren't exactly going to support
probably
many more of those.
Stoked about that, were they?
Yeah, so thankfully they came back and helped me out, and we had some heart-to-heart conversations about if this kept going on, they were concerned about my health in the long term, and I kind of woke up and realized what I was doing to myself, and I think I had at that time, I had 11 or 12 concussions, and
Goodness.
Okay, yeah.
You know what's funny to me
out.
is that the 2 broken legs, that wasn't the wake-up call. It was
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah. It's like
concussions.
for some reason, I guess you take your legs for granted until you can't use them.
Right.
But thankfully, the good Lord was looking out for me, and we didn't have nothing like that, happen. One of the lucky ones for sure. Once I quit racing bikes, when you're looking at it from the outside, you start seeing things that you didn't necessarily see before. Like, I had friends that were getting really hurt bad, and some even got killed. And it's like, holy cow! I was doing the same thing for 18 years. Just, I don't want to say being ignorant, but I don't think you can go out there and race and have that in the back of your head. So it's almost kind of like horse with blinders on. But one of my heroes, Ricky Carmichael, and he around that time was making a transition over to racing in the truck series and TNN series and parts in the series. And I got to thinking, maybe there's something to that. I wish he would have had a little more success than he did, but I think he was just getting good there. Right when it kind of fell out from under him. But a little bit of research and came across watching cars. I think I was watching Speed Channel, rest in peace, the best channel ever in the history of television. And saw a summer shootout up here at Charlotte Motor Speedway on there, and I'm like, hey, that looks like an interesting way to get involved in racing. And then they marketed it as affordable way to get into racing. Now I know that actually doesn't exist. There is no affordable way to get into racing. But it was an opportunity there, and I started researching it, got in touch with our local dealer for Legend Cars, Brandon Thompson, in Legend Cars of Florida. And long story short, got to racing. One of the quotes I remember, I think it was Ricky Carmichael said, he said, with age comes a cage. So I got a late start. I think I was 23 when I ran my first race, and it was the day before my birthday. So I've only really been racing, asphalt oval stuff for 5 years, but I, as my dad would tell most people that, once you added 2 extra wheels, I could race a lot better. So
did you race better, or
I definitely
did you
took
just
to it
not
more.
almost die better?
Right. I think that's...
Yeah. So that was that's kind of how I got started. I from late cars to late models. I drove for Chad Finley. He was somebody I'd always looked up to in late model racing. And he's come so close to the Snowball Derby so many times. It's a lot like Will Earnhardt trying to win the Daytona 500. So he's about lost it every way you can. And so it was an honor when he came to me to ask me to drive for them, and we had a shortened campaign there. It kind of tore some stuff up and stuff not doing. That's actually kind of how I got to know her and Burton. We were racing at Orange County Speedway and up in Rougemont. And I think that's how you pronounce it, Rougemont. Might just be the quarter game in me. But there's a big wreck in turn 1, and my spotter's radio wasn't working, so my dad was standing down in the middle of turn 3 and 4 trying to spot for me, and there's this big wreck in turn 1 and 2. Stephen Wallace was in it, and not that that surprised anybody, but I'm not gonna, I'm just pretend I didn't say that. Here I come, no spotter, nothing, and pile right into the back of Harrison. So Jeff had some choice words for me, but we after that we kind of got to be friends. So that was kind of my welcome to big time racing, wake up call type thing, I guess you'd call it.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, it was a trial by fire, I'd say.
It sounds like it. So, Robby, what are you up to this year? So in that 15 truck, what's your what are you up this year? What's the goals and what's going on?
Yeah, so beginning of the year, we had planned on running full. we had a cryptocurrency sponsor that came on board at Daytona, and a little before Daytona when we started talking to them. And it was actually a sponsor that Jay Robinson brought to me, which was, that's not something that the team owner usually does. He's not the guy that goes out and tries to get sponsors, but, after we ran at Phoenix and Homestead last year and we really enjoyed working together, he was willing to go and try to get funding for us to get me in the truck, and that was such an honor. But, that the big cryptocurrency industry is, there's so many unknowns with it. It's such a rich business, and there's no regulation with it, and I knew that there's a chance that it wouldn't work out, and just the next race at Atlanta, it kind of came apart at the seams, and since then I've been working my tail off to try and get to whichever races I can. I would have loved to have been in the truck every race this year, but it's hasn't quite worked out that way. Like around April-ish, I ended up getting sick and missed a couple weeks there, and thankfully got that straightened out, and I'm feeling better. There's a Premium and Jay, they're so good at finding the right people at the right time, and I didn't even know it at the time when I met him that it would have worked out as well as it had. My debut, I finished 12th at Phoenix. Like, what? It was crazy. My goal is like to finish top 25, and here we are in 12th. It was really cool, and got to work with Brian Keselowski as my crew chief. I guess as a driver, I'm not really supposed to have favorite drivers, but I've been like a lifetime Brad Keselowski fan. So
right on.
It is cool to be working with Brian and all them, and just kind of sort of have a little bit of a connection. Respect the hell out of Brian. He's a great guy. But here towards the end of the year, as I kind of had to sit out some, I was actually crunching some numbers and figuring stuff out, and this is the first time I've really told anybody what I've been working on. But Chad Finley and his dad Jeff and Bruce Cook, Bruce used to work at KHI, won an owners championship with them with Kevin in the 2 truck. Clint Boyer drove it, and I think Elliot Silver drove it a few times, and he's been Tony Stewart's crew chief, and won some races with Tony at Daytona, and he and Dale Jr.'s crew chief. And so he's kind of heading up their program over there. Kind of sticks the book. I wouldn't help them and work with Crystal, and unfortunately had another issue there. But they kind of told me about, hey man, why don't you come help us out at the shop sometime? You're trying to work on your and stuff, but kind of all your parts, so I can help out and keep your mind off the not race. Just come hang out with us, and it was they were kind of family to me. They always had been, and it's one thing, never burn a bridge, in racing. You never know, and you could help each other out again, and that's basically what's presented itself here. And the more I spent time working in their shop and get to know everybody, I was like, this might be something that I'd like to do. And just in the past couple weeks, bought a truck myself. And we've been preparing it. So I actually won't be in the 15 truck at Talladega. I'll be in the 33 truck. Josh Williams being kind enough to lend some support. And so I'll be racing for myself, driver owner type deal at Talladega. So
oh man, what a place to do that
that's
at.
What I've been working on.
What a place to do driver owner at the first first race is at. Well, let's just keep it clean at Talladega.
That's
make sure you wear a diaper.
As long as we can take it to Daytona in February.
Yeah.
So.
Well, wishing you the best of luck there. Sincerest, too. I'm not trying to be a butt.
No,
man.
How about this? Outside of racing, so when you're not racing, what are you doing for fun? What are you enjoying?
Oh, man. I forget what fun's like anymore. just kidding. I have been growing up in Florida. you know, we live near the beaches my whole life. My family's in the construction and contracting industry, and thankfully I've been able to play on that most of my career. You know, a lot of our subcontractors have come on board and helped us out, you know, and so I've basically gone to everybody I could think of, like the drywall guys, the plumbers, the electrician, and asked them to help us out. But and a lot of them have, and I'm so thankful for that. But I love building stuff. You know, I'm guilty of still enjoying playing with Legos, so I'll buy I'll buy Lego models and build them all the time still. I enjoy doing that, and you know, sometimes I get on the computer and design stuff. And but I mean, growing up in Florida near the beaches and all the work that we've done down there, I'm in love with fishing and the water. And it's been tough living up in Charlotte because, you know, we're really far away from the ocean. But we got Lake Norman up here, and you know, I've tried out some freshwater fishing here and there, and I've got a lot to learn about it. It's a little different, but anytime I can spend some time out there, and you know, it's quiet and peaceful, and it's that's something I enjoy, and I also really like playing golf too. I haven't got to do much of it lately, but I'm working on getting some new clubs and going and hitting the fairways here soon.
Right on,
Tiger.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah, dude. How about that?
Dude,
that's crazy.
Totally cool.
Good for him.
As two dudes
really, really cool.
Who I think me and Sherwin probably both got into like watching golf around the same time and stuff. And being able to see a superstar kind of begin in that way, and especially with all the hype and everything that Tiger had around him. Man, I've been a Tiger fan my entire golf watching career.
Right.
And even in this downturn for the last however many, 5, 6, 8 years, whatever it is, every time I hear, you know, hey, Tiger's playing this weekend, like, you know, I poke my head back up, you know?
Yeah.
And this weekend with the win, holy cow, what an ordeal. So I'm with you.
Yeah, you know, I think I heard somebody say that, you know, him doing well this weekend might have single-handedly saved the sport of golf.
You know,
I know it's not the sport of golf, but you know, it definitely got people's interest back, and I think you could almost compare it to Dale Jr. You know, like his success that he had in the 8 car, and the little bit of success he had when he moved over to Hendrick in the 88, and you know, then he had a few of those years there where, you know, he went winless, and people were like, when's Dale Jr. going to be back in victory lane? You know, when the sport's most popular driver is struggling to win races, you know, a lot of people are just scratching their heads, and I think it was a lot of that with Tiger. You know, what was it, 4 years or 5 years since he won his last tournament? I can't remember, or his last tour. So yeah, I mean, everybody's wondering, you know, when is he going to win that next race, like Dale Jr. did in Michigan there. I remember Kyle Petty saying, he's like, man, I hope this place has insurance because they're going to burn it down.
For sure.
Especially up north.
I remember watching it. It was cool.
Yeah, those folks up there, they take it serious.
Oh, yeah.
So, Robby, we'll close you out with this one. And the amount of hype and everything there is for the Roval coming up. Tell us about I don't know. Tell us your thoughts on it.
The race first.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to at the Roval?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to not being behind the wheel there. Especially as an owner driver. That's the last thing I want to do. But no, I'm roommates with Garrett Smithley, and actually I had the XFinity test there today, like an open practice and test, and I gave him my GoPro, and he came back home like an hour or two ago, and we were watching it, and he was like, man, it was a lot of fun to drive, and he's like, when it comes down to racing there, he's like, it's gonna be nuts, like it's gonna be stressful, and it's so, and you know, the passing opportunities are few and far between, and you're gonna have to take it when you get it. So I think you're gonna see one of the most I don't know if it'll be high attrition just because the speeds aren't all that high, you know, on the inside portion. The thing that worries me the most is that backstretch chicane. I think it's gonna be the place to watch this weekend. Definitely can't run double wide through there. Very few places around Anthony run double wide. So I think Justin Marks, I think he tore up the car today. So we'll it'll be like the old Madhouse show up there at Bowman Gray Stadium, just at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
No
The
kidding.
Charlotte version of the Madhouse.
I'm looking forward to it.
No
I like
kidding.
that. That's a good title for like a segment or something.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely
digging
give Garrett Smithley a poke. Hey,
it.
come tell us what it was like after it's all said and done.
For sure. So, Robby, we'll let you go here. Tell the folks where they can find you, what's going on, and everything else.
What was that?
I said we're going to let you go on this one, so go ahead and tell the folks, the PETM posse here, where they can find you on Twitter and everything else, and websites and all the rest of it, and where you're going to be. Well, you said you're going to be Talladega next. Tell them where they can find you.
Sure. Well, you can find me everywhere but going insane. But no, Twitter, RL Racing 2, Instagram, RL Racing 2, Facebook, Robby Lyons Racing. Anybody that has time to give it a like, appreciate it. And don't forget, the voting for most popular driver is still open. So if you feel so inclined, always appreciate the votes and the support. So really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me, and look forward to doing it again.
All right, man.
Awesome.
Same here. We appreciate you hanging out with us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Give my boy TJM a shout, and y'all enjoy talking in.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Right on.